All rise. Judge Vonda B court is now in session. Judge, this is the case of the Kennedys.
Thank you. You all may be seated. Okay, Mr. Kennedy, you brought this case before the court.
Yes, ma'am.
What's going on?
Welcome to a courtroom clash that'll leave you stunned. Today's battle, a father fighting for his daughter's future and a woman guarding a fortune like a locked vault. Mr. Kennedy says his little girl needs more support, more care, more stability. But Miss Kennedy, she insists her millionaire CEO husband's empire isn't her business. Here's the twist: she still pockets $500 a week in allowance money. Sound simple? Not even close. Because just when you think you've heard it all, a psychic subscription enters the fight. Whose truth will shatter the silence? And who's spinning lies in designer heels? Stay right there, you're about to witness a story of loyalty, money, and betrayal that spirals far deeper than anyone imagined.
So I'm sharing custody with our 12-year-old daughter now, and I'm just wanting a little more help with finances because as she's getting older, expenses are getting a little higher, and sports, dances, going out hanging with girls, and yeah, I just want a little more help on my end. I'm paying insurance already. And
okay. How much are you paying in insurance?
$130.
All right. And what is your daughter's name?
Autumn.
Autumn. Oh, what a beautiful name.
Thank you.
Autumn. Okay. So what type of expenses does she have that are increasing?
Yeah, so she's doing volleyball right now, and we're thinking that she's going to be doing that in high school as well.
Okay.
So just, athletic wear and then traveling, going to places. I want to go and support her and as well as her, but, I'm the one having to drive and take her if I don't want her to ride the bus because I don't feel her safe doing that.
Okay. Is this a school bus or?
Yeah, it's a school bus.
With her teammates?
With her teammates, yes.
And you don't feel that she should ride with her teammates?
If it's really far away, maybe like an hour or more, I'll drive her. But, if it's 30 minutes or less, I'll usually let her typically go.
Okay, that's understandable. Okay, is there anything else you want me to know before I move over to her?
She's just a growing girl, and girls are expensive, as they say, so.
I mean, we have a lot of stuff that we need, so yeah. Ma'am, is there anything you want to add or subtract from what he said?
Yeah. The age-old story: kids grow up, and so do the bills. Sports, dances, weekend hangouts, it all stacks up quicker than you think. But here's the twist: Mr. Kennedy's already footing the insurance tab. So now the courtroom wrestles with a burning question. Should the weight of raising a child be split more fairly? Or is this just a clever ploy for extra cash? The answer isn't simple, and what happens next might change everything.
Your Honor, I do feel that he's trying to take advantage of my new relationship.
Okay, tell me about this new relationship.
Well, I can't really help who I have fallen in love with. So my new husband is a fantastic provider. However, I do get an allowance, and it isn't as much as you would think coming from, well, my husband's a CEO of an energy company, so you would expect a huge allowance, but obviously he has to protect all of his hard-earned income.
What type of allowance do you receive?
About $500 a week.
$500 a week, okay. All right.
So, which really isn't that big a deal. Obviously.
That big a deal in terms of the amount of money, or you paying child support for the child living with him and having increased expense?
Well, I don't think it's that big a deal to Mr. Kennedy because he has a pretty healthy income himself.
But you do understand his income does not have anything to do with an increase in what you should be paying in child support, right?
Yes, I understand that, but what I don't think has been considered yet is the fact that I set aside furthering my education, though I wanted to pursue that so that he could go get his MIS degree and then a master's in something. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure that it's fair. I would like to consider all the money that wasn't spent on me that should have been spent on me while we were married.
Okay, yeah, no, that's not how this works. And sir, she says she gets a $500 a week allowance from her husband, and who is a CEO of an energy company. Briefly, how much money does your—
Oh boy, here we go again. Miss Kennedy's already planting the idea that her ex is chasing dollar signs just because she married into money. Classic deflection. But let's get one thing straight. Child support isn't about who you marry, it's about the child's needs, not the stepdad's paycheck. Will the judge fall for this narrative? Spoiler alert, don't count on it.
Really not sure.
Okay.
I'm sorry. It's
a
a lot.
It's a lot?
I think so.
When you say a lot, is it like in the 200,000s, 300,000s?
Well, the car that he drives was about 200,000. So I'm thinking you probably have to
you
make
only
more
get a
than that.
$500 a week. You know what? That's not my business. That's not the reason I'm here. I'm not going to even entertain that.
That's what I was thinking too.
I'll just move on. Sir, do you know how much money her husband makes a year?
I don't, but he's the Steve Jobs of the town of energy, so to say.
So let me ask you this. Are you expecting her child support to be based on his Steve Jobs?
No, his success has nothing to do with me or my daughter or our daughter. And like I said, I just want a little more help because she's getting older. And, if she's happily married with whoever and how big his wallet is, that is totally up to her.
Okay, well, I'm glad that's not what you were doing.
This is where it gets really interesting. Miss Kennedy claims she's scraping by on a modest $500 weekly allowance. But when your husband rolls up in a $200,000 car, that modest claim starts sounding a lot like a stretch. The judge isn't buying it, and honestly, can you blame him? Neither should we.
Anyway, but what we can do, ma'am, is make you pay more in child support, because at this point you've been paying zero. Because from what I see, you're a stay-at-home mom, which is absolutely okay. But you do understand that your child has increased expenses, correct?
Yes, I do see that.
Okay,
but
so after yes, I do see that, that means that I don't need any further response. So you understand that, right?
Well, how much are we talking about?
We're going to base it off that $500 a week allowance that you make.
Okay.
So based on that, I have your gross at $2,000 a month. After you take out the calculations for the taxes, your net comes out to $1,662.53, okay? That would give you a child support obligation of $266. However, you also heard him say that he pays $130, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
In medical insurance for the child. You're gonna have to reimburse that to him. So in addition to the $266 a month for child support, you add the $130, your child support obligation monthly comes out to $396.
Boom. The judge drops the hammer. Miss Kennedy may have thought she could sidestep financial duty, but the court isn't fooled for a second. Based on that so-called modest allowance, she's now ordered to pay nearly $400 a month. Not exactly a financial knockout, but definitely a reality check she didn't see coming.
Sure, but make it brief.
Okay, well, I don't know if he's still subscribing to the same psychic, but she charges, I think it's $412 a month.
Okay. And what does this psychic have to do with these numbers?
Well, because I just feel like if he can afford the psychic, then maybe he can afford the insurance. And I guess I feel that that is money that could have gone towards my education while we were married.
Okay, well, I've already said no to that. That has nothing to do with me. I mean, you should address that in your divorce, obviously. And whatever he pays, if he chooses to do that, that has nothing to do with your responsibility, your financial responsibility to your daughter. So if there's nothing further from either of you, you all are dismissed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rise along, counsel.
Wait, a psychic? Yep, you heard that right. Miss Kennedy actually tried to argue that her ex's psychic subscription is why she shouldn't have to pay more. Child support based on tarot cards? The judge shut that down faster than you can say objection, and just like that, case closed. Because at the end of the day, Financial responsibility isn't about payback. It's about doing what's fair. But what do you think? Did the judge nail it? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if courtroom showdowns like this keep you hooked, smash that like button and subscribe for more jaw-dropping legal drama.